Okay, in this next step, we're going to keep using this document. I'm going to go back into my sketch. I don't know if you remember this, but it's a good idea not to use this button unless you really need a new sketch. I want to make a couple new parts, but I don't need them on a new sketch. So I'm just going to double click this to open my original sketch. Right now, again, I'm holding down my mouse button and moving it, so I'm dragging with the middle mouse button. That helps me move it so I can draw in a place that I want to. I'm going to click top so I can see it from the top. And now I'm right dragging. So I'm going to teach you how to use the 3-point arc. Now that happens to be showing here. And it is a 3-point arc. If for some reason your arc tool is not on the 3-point arc, just click this little drop down menu and choose 3-point arc. And again, this is another case of click, don't drag. So with the 3-point arc tool, you click once to establish one of the arc's endpoints, and then you click again to establish the other of the arc's endpoints, and then you click to define the arc size. So we're going to make Pac-Man, which means we want his mouth to be open to the right. So I'm going to click here to set the top point, and you can see it's waiting for me to establish a second point, which I think I'll do about here. And after I've clicked that, it lets me make an arc as big as I want to. So go ahead and make it as big as you want to, but don't intersect one of your other sketches because that just gets messy. But you can make it the size you want to. And when you click that third time, I've established my arc. Now the arc is open, so we don't see it turn gray, but that's fine because we want to finish it up with Pac-Man's mouth by using the line tool. So switch back to the line tool, click on that endpoint. I'm just going to go to the center point of the circle and click. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom part of his mouth back to the center. And it fills in because I have a closed shape. If for some reason you think you did this and you don't have a closed shape, it likely means that you didn't exactly click one of these endpoints. So you can undo and redraw those lines. So that's going to make a nice Pac-Man. But we want to make a ghost to go with it, and that will give us more practice with the 3-point arc tool. So I'm going to click the 3-point arc tool. This time I'm going to click one here and then one to the right. Maybe about there. I'm going to try to keep it horizontal. So I'll click there and then I'm going to make like a half of a circle. So that arc looks nice. Now to finish the ghost, we're going to start at this point, drag down and click, drag up, drag down. So I'm clicking with each drag. And then I go back to the beginning. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Yours definitely might be crooked. But that should work. So we're going to click to accept this sketch. I'm going to tilt my screen again. This time when I extrude, I'm going to do it in one extrusion. So, I'm having trouble with my dots. I think I'll do that. So let's extrude and let's click both of these. So it makes it a little quicker. It also will lock them into each other. So these are always going to be the same size. If you don't want that, you would want 2 separate extrusions. But I want that, so I'm going to click yes. And now I have my extruded ghost and Pac-Man, and they're the same size. And one of the reasons I did it is because I wanted to show you that even though I have 4 parts, I only have 3 extrusions because these 2 parts are from the same extrusion. If you need more explanation on that, you can just Teams me or ask me next time I see you in class. Okay, if you need to, definitely pause the video and or rewind as necessary so you can get all the shapes I have. We're going to take a few minutes and talk about the transform tools. Transform in math means translate, which is moving, rotating, and scaling. So all three of those things can be commanded from the transform menu, which for me is on my toolbar. Now, when I was in class today, people didn't see this on their toolbar. It was hidden underneath the Boolean tool. So if you don't see this icon with 2 blocks and 2 arrows, there should be a menu next to Boolean, just like there's a menu right here. So if you look at the menu under Boolean, you'll probably see transform. So we're going to go ahead and click transform. And that opens one of our boxes so we can tell it what to do. First, we need to say what we want to transform. And we're going to go with the ghost because we're going to make a second copy of the ghost. So we're going to do this, click the ghost, and you can see that it knows it's going to work on part 4. One way to move it or translate it is by line. I don't know how to use that because I like to go to transform by XYZ. That means we need to click this drop down menu. We're going to go translate by XYZ. And then what that does is it gives us a little movement widget. The boxes will move your ghost in 2 dimensions. I typically don't use those. I like to move it individually on each axis. And basically I'm just going to move it to the right. So if I move it to the right, you can see I'm still in my transform box. But you can see the original position and you can see the transform position, which is kind of nice. So you're basically getting a preview of where it's going to be. The other thing that's really nice about translate, I'm not sure if it's true of the other transform tools, but we can click copy part. Watch what happens when I click copy part. This now kind of got solid to say, okay, I'm going to stay here. And then it's showing the location of the new ghost, and it's showing you that we now have a 5th part. So you can position that how you want it, but definitely copy it. And when you're happy with its position, you can click OK. And so that's pretty cool. And I will show you that if we were to go back into the sketch, I'm going to double click the sketch. You don't see the sketch of that second ghost because it wasn't made via, well, it was technically made from this sketch. That's why you don't see a second sketch copy. So we're going to do one more thing to this new ghost. We're going to click it, or you can click it before or after you open the box. We're going to go back to transform, and it knows I want part 5, but if you didn't have part 5 selected, you can go ahead and click the ghost. This time we're going to scale. So let's go down to scale. I don't know if I did that too fast, but we don't want to translate by line. We want to scale. So here's what happens with the scale. It needs some kind of reference in terms of like where to scale it from. And it's looking for a point or mate connector. I'm not sure what a mate connector is, so we're going to go and find this point. Once we find that point, it's ready to scale, and currently the scale is 1, which means actual size. Lower than 1 will mean smaller. So if I type in 0.5, I'm going to hit tab so we can preview. That's what the smaller one will look like. Or maybe you want to make it bigger, in which case you got to go bigger than 1. So you could try 1.5. Again, if you hit tab, you'll get a preview. If you want to try 2, it'll be twice the size. I'm a little bit leery of that because it is overlapping a little bit, which I don't think will hurt, but if you want to play it safe, you can knock this back down to like 1.8. When you hit tab, it's bigger and not touching it. So I can go ahead and click the check mark, and now I have a bigger ghost than the first ghost. So yeah, that's how that works. We have one more aspect of today's lesson, which I will do in a third video.